Good morning. I'm Mrs. Hall. I'm the co-president of the New Jersey Literacy Association. And I'd like to give a couple of shout outs today before we start to read to the Highbridge Elementary School students and the Valley View Elementary School students and the children at Hampton School. Good morning. Today I'm reading with permission from Scholastic, which is the publisher of the book. And I want to say thanks, Scholastic. We've started out many times with an affirmation, and we're going to do that today. And the affirmation is, I don't let little things upset me. So that's when we look in the mirror and we say, I won't let little things upset me. I don't let little things upset me. Our story today is a favorite, and it's Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Groovy is a word you probably don't use anymore, but your grandparents did, and it means really cool. This story is just for fun, so we're reading just for fun today, but it does teach us an important lesson, so be listening for the lesson that it might teach you. Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons, written by Eric Litwin, and the art is by James Dean. So James Dean is the guy who created Pete the Cat. Let's read. Inside the cover are the first pictures of his 4 groovy buttons. Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. You can see he has 4 buttons down his chest. Can you count them? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's correct. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, brown, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much that he sang this song. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My 4 groovy buttons. Pete the Cat is very dramatic. One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Can you count them on Pete's shirt? Let's see if you were right. 3 groovy buttons. 4 minus 1 is 3. Pete says to himself, 3 groovy. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My 3 groovy buttons. Recognize the tune of his song? I thought you would. He's skateboarding down the road and pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? How many buttons? Did you say 2? 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. Want to sing with me? My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my two groovy buttons. He doesn't seem very upset about having lost his buttons. He gets ice cream and pop. Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Did you say one? One groovy button. 2 minus 1 is 1. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. You can sing it with me by now. My button, my one groovy button. My button, my one groovy button. He's surfing and pop! Oh no! The last button popped off and rolled away. How many are left? Did you say 0? Yes, 1 minus 1 is 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? Same thing you would see. He saw his belly button. He kept on singing his song. Should we sing it one more time? He says, it's all good. My button, still have my belly button. My button, still have my belly button. So Pete is very fond of buttons. I think he's growing out of this shirt. What do you think? I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness no. We keep on singing, just like Pete. So our affirmation today was, I don't let little things upset me. What do you think Pete learned from his story? What do you think Pete learned during this story? Or what are we supposed to learn? The author sometimes hides a little message for you to learn. What do you think you're supposed to learn from this story? Pete loves his buttons, but when they pop off, does he cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. He just sings his song. So I think we're supposed to learn that good things and bad things come and go in our lifetime, and we shouldn't let them upset us. After all, we have a pretty good life. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.